Howdy folks, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about Animal Jam avatars, the new, the old, and my gripes with all of them. This will include comparing the old Animal Jam avatars to the new Animal Jam avatars, and pointing out some differences between them, as well as going into some of my issues with the old and the new avatars. This video might be a little different from the other ones, considering the fact that this isn't a topic that I see really talked about all too much. And most of this video, if not all of it, is going to be entirely my opinion and my personal observations. So if you don't really want to hear that, I'd suggest clicking off and waiting for me to upload a different video, or checking out some of my old ones. But before I start talking about the Animal Jam avatars themselves, I want to bring up a different video game community. That being Pokemon. Within the Pokemon community, there's almost always arguing about whether or not the new designs are good or not. This is because over the years, the Pokemon art style has changed drastically. Here's a good visual to show you how it's changed over time. See that the older Pokemon designs had more detail, were more sharp and angular in design, and generally seemed more intimidating as a result. In comparison, the new Pokemon designs are softer, cuter, and have rounder edges and have less details. I bring this up because from what I can tell, Animal Jam has gone through a similar design change. A lot of the older animal designs are a lot sharper and have more points and edges to them, whereas the newer animals have a lot more curves and soft edges. Of course, it's still sticking to the Animal Jam design, which is very shape-based, but you can even notice on my examples that I give here that the monkey and the wolf, for example, had a lot more squarish edges, where animals that are coming out now, where there would have been square edges before, now have rounded ones. And I've noticed this with most, if not all, of the newer animals that are coming out, probably starting around the time that Animal Jam is releasing all the dogs and cats, which is a whole other fun topic I will be discussing. But overall, I would say that the Animal Jam art style has changed a bit to be softer, rounder, and more kid-friendly, even though it was already a kid-friendly game. And whether or not you like the old designs or the new designs better is entirely up to you, and I would say I don't really have a preference since I like a lot of the old animals and I like a lot of the new animals, but it's just something I thought was worth mentioning. Talking about the Animal Jam cats and dogs phase, where Animal Jam was making just a ton of cats and dogs instead of any other animals, during this time period a lot of attention was drawn to the fact that some aspects of some of the animals seemed really similar to past animals, such as the fact that some of the dogs seemed to have similar characteristics to the polar bears, or even the other dogs, which I noticed as well at the time, and I did agree. And I'm not sure if Animal Jam is 100% reusing assets, but I wouldn't doubt it, and I kind of get it. I think that it isn't the best decision and does make the animals look really samey, and that is a problem that I had specifically during that phase of WildWorks animal designs, but I don't see it so much anymore. I think the reason that Animal Jam is most likely reusing assets from other animals to make new ones is save time and resources. In fact, a lot of animation studios and art studios do this as well. A big example that was floating around the internet for a while was that back in the day when Disney did traditional animations, they would frame by frame reuse old dancing animations in their new animations, just with new characters and new backdrops, which is a very resourceful way to use old tools and old material, except it really only works if you can get away with not noticing. I would say that reusing assets is an issue that only the new animals have. However, there is an issue that I have specifically with some of the older animals, and it might not be what you think, because I've never heard this discussed before. If you haven't noticed, recently, over the last couple of years, most of the animals that Animal Jam has been releasing are pretty specific. In the past, rather than releasing a unique, identifiable animal, they would kind of release a vague animal, such as a wolf or a bunny, even though there are tons of different kinds of wolves and bunnies. But they just released a vague wolf and bunny, and now, in modern day, they're making different variants of it, such as the painted wolf or the Arctic hare. I actually have a bit of an issue with that, specifically the older animals, which unfortunately is an issue that exists with my favorite Animal Jam animal, the otter. There are a few different kinds of otters out there, but for the most part they can be divided into two categories, sea otters and river otters, which a lot of people don't even know are different things, which upsets me. And I mean, I know I have a bit of a bias because river otters are my favorite animal, and I do get a little frustrated when people mistake them for sea otters, but there are a lot of really noticeable, identifiable differences between the two species. River otters have longer bodies, short fur, longer tails, and are skinnier and have a flatter head with a smaller nose, whereas sea otters are chunkier, bigger, have a shorter, fatter tail, a big nose, and a big fluffy head. They also have an identifiable white face that often leads to a white belly, and their entire face is white, whereas a river otter might have a tan face at the bottom half, but usually has brown fur along the bridge of the nose and upper face. Now, if you know enough about otters, if you looked at the Animal Jam otter, it's pretty obvious that it's trying to be a river otter. It has the longer, skinnier body, the short fur, the flat head, the small snout, the small nose. Even the fur pattern is based off of a river otter. However, there's a little bit of an issue with that being things such as the fun fact that you can get when you own the otter, or even the ebook. A lot of the times it's referring to sea otters in the same category as it would refer to river otters. Yes, it differentiates by mentioning sea otters, but when the fun fact you get with a river otter designed animal is a sea otter fun fact, it just bothers me a little bit, and I feel like for a game that's supposed to be pseudo-edutainment, it's a little misleading. There aren't as many species of otter as there are wolves and bunnies, so I feel like the fact that they're kind of mushing together a river otter and a sea otter means that we're going to be less likely to actually see a sea otter added to the game, which makes me really sad because I love otters. River otters just happen to be my favorite. But believe it or not, despite how heated I am over this little tidbit of information that nobody else cares about, that's actually not the biggest issue I have with an Animal Jam animal in-game. The biggest issue I have are actually with the lions. As I'm sure you already know, a lot of animals have traits that are specific to one gender that make them stand apart. For example, female cows have udders, whereas male cows have horns but no udders. Which is why when cows were first announced but not yet introduced, some people were worried that we would just have to play as female cows, since only female cows have udders, but cows in media are most often portrayed as female cows with udders. Except Animal Jam did something that was both unexpected and amazing. We can toggle between whether or not our cow has udders, horns, or neither, which was really shocking considering that this isn't something they did before when I feel it was definitely necessary, and that is with the lion. Most female lions do not have a mane, whereas most male lions do have a mane. And even in media, it's almost always portrayed that female lions don't have manes and male lions do have manes, which means that it's a bit sad that the lions in-game can only be used with a mane, which means that all of the lions in-game are being portrayed as male lions. Some of them just happen to like wearing eyelashes. And of course, I know plenty of female players who love to use the lion. It just bothers me a little bit that there isn't a female option for the people who would like to play as the female lion. I hear this brought up a couple times, and the main argument is that maned lionesses do exist. There are female lions out there who do have manes. However, it's incredibly uncommon, and a lot of young players play this game and they don't know that, which is why it bothers me a little bit, just a little bit, that you can only play as a lion with a mane. And I feel like this could be something that Animal Jam could go back to and either change or just make an entire new avatar of a female lion, call it the lioness or something. I don't know. I feel like this video is a little bit tangenty and just mostly me rambling, which most of my videos mostly are me rambling, but this one more so than others. But thanks for watching anyways, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see y'all around.